Do you see families like Miguel Lopez, who was a neighbor of mine? Miguel had done everything that was asked of him, went to every immigration proceeding that he was supposed to go to. He was arrested and sent to Mexico.
Did he have a criminal record?
In 1995, he pled to a lesser nonviolent charge.
And I wish people would do things correctly.
The president also, by the way, is a convicted felon, if you want to talk about criminal records. Secretary Noem, did you or your staff fire one of your pilots recently?
Not that I'm aware of. It was not accurate, and I was surprised that the Wall Street Journal would print that many inaccuracies in one article.
Secretary, you have referenced many times the families behind you, and I see the families, and I see your pain, and I see your loss. I see those who are still with us but have been hurt and changed. And I'm sorry that this has happened to you. And I see you, I know my colleagues see you, our country sees you, and I thank you for being here today. Secretary, my question for you is, do you see families like Miguel Lopez, who was a neighbor of mine in Livermore, California? Miguel had lived in Livermore for over 30 years. He raised his 3 children in Livermore. His youngest is a senior at a local high school, just finished his football season. Miguel worked at a winery where my wife and I were married almost 10 years ago. Miguel had done everything that was asked of him, went to every immigration proceeding that he was supposed to go to, and in April was put in handcuffs as he was following the orders of the court and going to the proceedings. He was arrested and sent to Mexico over a judge's objection that he not be sent to Mexico and he stay in the United States. Every Sunday night, his wife Rosa and the family have a dinner, and there's an empty chair at the dinner table. Miguel's not there. I went and saw Miguel in Mexico. He doesn't have a job. He's not able to provide. And he said his Spanish isn't even that great because he hasn't been there for 30 years and it's hard for him to communicate. Do you see the pain of families like Miguel Lopez, someone who did not commit a violent crime but has been separated from his family and is not providing, is not working?
Congressman,
do you see that pain?
Did he have a criminal record?
Did Mr. Lopez have a criminal record? In 1995, he pled to a lesser nonviolent charge. But do you see the pain?
I do see the pain, okay. And I wish people would do things correctly. If they're not in legal status in this country, they can return home. We will pay for them to return home. Yeah. I hope he got the $2,600 he could have gotten.
Do you think that makes up for not being with his family?
It helps because we have agreements with these countries where they are helping to facilitate housing.
It was a nonviolent crime, Secretary.
But then he gets the chance to come back the right way. Now that he's waited until he's been detained and deported, he will never get the chance to come back to the United States.
It was
and
a
so
nonviolent.
I wish that he would have made the right decision and decided to go home to help his family and him to be together. They have choices that they can make to be together, and we're hopeful that they will continue to do that.
The president also, by the way, is a convicted felon, if you want to talk about criminal records. Secretary Noem, did you or your staff fire one of your pilots recently?
No.
No pilot was relieved of their duty?
No.
Not
that I'm aware of.
So the story, and recognizing you're under oath, the story in the Wall Street Journal was incorrect.
That individual was not fired. Do you know how many years it takes to get a military officer to be fired? That story was
he asked to not fly the next day?
It was not accurate. And I was surprised that the Wall Street Journal would print that many inaccuracies in one article.
Well, the Wall Street Journal is not a liberal newspaper of record. Well, tell me then.
I don't know what it is anymore.
Tell me then, has a single ICE agent or CBP officer been disciplined since you've been Secretary of Homeland Security? As we've seen women dragged through their streets by their hair and thrown into unmarked cars, people chased through the fields and factories where they work, public executions happening in our streets. Has a single ICE agent or CBP officer been disciplined?
Yes, they have.
How many?
I don't know the number. I can get that for you if
you think that number is important?
I think that it's wise and smart, and what we're doing is accurate according to the law by doing those internal investigations through the process that's set up. There's an Office of Professional Responsibility that does the investigation, and decisions are brought before the National Use of Force Board, and they review each incident as objectively outside of that law enforcement encounter, and then give a decision for
Has
it.
anyone been fired? Has anyone lost their job?
There could be.
Well, I'm not asking if it could be, I'm asking, has anyone been fired?
I'm certain that they have. That happens once in a while when there is a need for someone to be
For
held
conduct related
accountable.
to enforcement actions?
We hold our law enforcement officers accountable and are grateful that they serve, that they put their lives on the line, and also recognize that when these situations that they follow their training and the legality of the course to how they interact with the public.
Yield back.
Gentleman yields. I recognize the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Tiffany.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, how many countries does your department currently list as recalcitrant? That's question one. Question two, have you notified the State Department of those countries' status? And let me set the questions up a little bit before you answer them. So question one is, how many are listed as recalcitrant, and have you notified the State Department? So at the end of the Biden administration, they had listed 13 countries as being recalcitrant, which means they were delaying sending, delaying or completely refusing to accept return of their nationals when we attempt to deport them. You know, the list includes Communist China, Cuba, Russia, Pakistan, Somalia, and others. And under the Immigration and Nationality Act, DHS notifies the State Department that a country is non-compliant. Is DHS notifying the State Department of people who are that are here in this country from recalcitrant countries?
Yes, but all that decision-making is made in conjunction with the State Department. They help us with that. The travel documents for our detainees that need to be returned back to their home countries, those are coordinated and produced by the State Department. That's why individuals within our detainment centers at times will wait for that paperwork to come through so that they can be returned home. Some of those countries that don't receive their own citizens home, the State Department helps us through diplomacy means to agree to that. Some limit the amount they will take each week. And then we have third country removals as well, where someone from their country, if they can't return there, we may place them in another agreeable country that will host them so that they're out of the United States.
Yeah, one of my biggest concerns is that in 2023, a Chinese government official openly bragged about allowing, that they did not allow the United States to repatriate Chinese illegal aliens, and we know they are the greatest threat out there. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to submit a news report on that matter from the Washington Times. So, do you know, are we still issuing visas to Chinese nationals, given their long time and unapologetic refusal to cooperate with our deportation efforts? It doesn't seem like China's changed their, the way they're doing business. Are we still issuing visas to Chinese nationals?
I believe that we are, but I can get an answer back to you.
If you would, that would really be appreciated. Before the Biden administration left office, they put out a rule that was built upon the Obama administration's Guam Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands visa waiver program, and essentially allowed Chinese nationals to be able to sidestep the visa process that we have and gain entry into the Mariana Islands with no visa. And myself and Senator Scott have introduced a bill in reference to this. And as a result, after the Obama years, or actually during and after the Obama years, you saw this explosion of birth tourism where actually Chinese mothers were having more children on the CNMI Islands than United States residents. And I think that's really a big national security, public safety, and immigration fraud concern. And I sent a letter to your agency back in February, and we have not received an answer. Can we get an answer to that?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I just met with the governor there, and we talked about them wanting that back, and then, but me recognizing that they needed to come in compliance with some of those security concerns first.